What's happening, everybody, and welcome back to a brand new episode of Grounded 2. This episode, it's all about performance. That's right, we're going to show you how Grounded 2 runs on the brand new Asus ROG Astral 5090 32GB versus the Asus 5060 Dual. Alright, let's jump into it. So first off the bat, 1080p, how do we go? Okay, 1080p, low settings. So the 5060 does 66 frames per second. We got 31 1% lows and 20 latency. We have 110 frames per second, 58 1% lows and 6 latency on the 5090. Okay, moving up to medium settings, 1080p. We get 58 frames per second. We have 23 1% lows and 23 latency on the 5060. We have 110 frames per second, 45 1% lows and 7 latency on the 5090. Moving up to the high settings, 1080p. The 5060 has 49 frames per second, 21 1% lows, 41 latency. The 5090 has 101 frames per second, 40 1% lows and 8 latency. Moving up to epic settings, 1080p. The 5060 has 38 frames per second, 21 1% lows, 26 latency. The 5090 has 82 frames per second, 38 1% lows and 12 latency. Moving up to 1440p. Okay, 1440p, low settings. We have 46 frames per second, 21% lows and 31 latency on the 5060. On the 5090 we have 114 frames per second, 49 1% lows and 8 latency. Moving up to medium settings, 1440p. All these have VSync turned off, by the way. Okay, the 5060 has 40 frames per second, 15 1% lows and 36 latency. The 4090 has 103 frames per second, 44 1% lows and 9 latency. Moving up to high settings, 1440p. The 5060 has 34 frames per second, 13 1% lows and 42 latency. The 5090 has 85 frames per second, 42 1% lows, and 12 latency. Moving up to epic settings, 1440p. The 5060 has 24 frames per second, 10 1% lows, and 70 latency. The 5090 has 67 frames per second, 25 1% lows and 19 latency. Okay, moving up to 4K. Really pushing their limits now. 4K, low settings. This is where you're going to see the 5060 struggle. The 5060 has got 27 frames per second, 13 1% lows and 53 latency. The 5090 has 76 frames per second, 31 1% lows and 14 latency. Okay, moving up to 4K medium settings. The 5060 has 25 frames per second, 12 1% lows and 65 latency, sorry. The 5090 has 68 frames per second, 32 1% lows and 19 latency. Moving up to 4K high settings. The 5060 has 17 frames per second, 81% lows and 90 latency. The 5090 has 56 frames per second, 31% lows and 24 latency. Okay, moving up to epic settings, 4K. This is where we're really going to be pushing that 5060. Okay, the 5060 is doing 12 frames per second, 1% lows, and 133 latency. The 5090 is doing 38 frames per second, 1% lows, and 36 latency. So as you can see, the 5090 is definitely doing a lot better of a job. However, it is still struggling a little bit. It does need to be optimized. We're going to leave this episode here. Hopefully you all enjoyed this. Smash a like button. Consider hitting that subscribe. And as always, I'll see you in the next episode. See you later.